Not enough capital? No renovation experience? No time to find that perfect deal? Reasons why everyone isn't making money in Arizona's booming real estate market. Finally, a chance for a passive investor to capitalize on Arizona real estate. Jameson, Wall Street experience to oversee, format, and structure the finances. Rocky, designs and lays out renovations that completely transform. John, buying and selling real estate in the Valley for 25 years. He identifies the properties that are home runs. Neighborhood Ventures, welcome to the team.
I'm sitting here with Sake, and we are in the initial stages of design for the venture on 66th. And what makes this unique is that we are making the use a short-term vacation rental instead of an apartment, which offers us the ability to maybe go a little further with the style because we're kind of more in charge, but it also presents some challenges in that we have to stick with not only a renovation budget, but we also have to stick with a furnishings budget that includes housewares, furniture, rugs, everything from start to finish, what you would need to stay at a vacation rental.
So Venture on 66 is a great opportunity for investors to invest in an Airbnb project in a passive way. So a lot of folks may have a condo or an old rental property that they've converted into an Airbnb unit and they manage themselves. And for those of you who've done it, you know it's a lot of work to manage one of those projects. But the rent that you're able to generate from the project is higher than if you were to rent it out with a long-term tenant. So this project is great because it's in an up-and-coming neighborhood in Old Town Scottsdale. So that for people who are coming to the Valley, they're able to stay in a place like Scottsdale that has all the amenities that has drawn tourists to that area for a long time. And it's also in an up-and-coming area. This particular neighborhood has seen a lot of renovations, and so it's a good time for us to go in and buy the property now. And we're getting in the property at a good price point at $128,000 per unit. Renovation budget is probably going to be $20,000. And then since we're doing it as an Airbnb, we need to furnish it. And when you think of the furnishings, that's your beds, your couch, your TV, all of those things that an Airbnb person expects to have in a nightly rental. So our total costs are $158,000 per unit. Because it's a little bit more cost up front and a little bit more work to manage, we also expect to receive higher per monthly revenue from each unit. Anywhere from 30 to 50% higher by doing it as an Airbnb than if we did it as a long-term rental.
All right, so we're looking at an 8-unit property. And this is gonna be a little different because it's not an apartment complex. It is going to be a short-term vacation rental. So each unit, they don't necessarily need a lot of storage or a certain amount of space for anything that would be required for like normal life. We really wanna focus on the appointments, so like making sure it's super stylish. And the fun part of it is that we get to be a little bit more outside the box. When I heard that this was going to be a property that was really geared towards short-term vacation rentals, or Airbnbs as we know them, I kind of did a little cheer because it feels like I've been training for this for the last year and a half. I've been doing a ton of work for a company that services the military in their short-term housing needs, which is basically Airbnb for the military. And it's allowed me a lot of experience in understanding that there are some things I need to spend a lot of money on, and then there are some things that I can really go lighter on. For instance, like the bed frames, they need to be sturdy, they need to be able to withstand a little bit of wear and tear. And the sheets, on the other hand, are replaceable commodities. So you don't want to spend a whole lot of money on those when most likely you'll be replacing those more often. Basically, we have two budgets that we're working with. There's the furnishing side and the renovation side. And the furnishing side, I think it almost has to come first.
I'd agree, and because we have so much creative we have freedom
Yeah.
to kind of choose exactly what's
Yeah.
going in what place.
For instance, like as we walk in, and it's like the main area, the family room, if we were doing this for an apartment complex, we couldn't place sconce lights exactly right on either side of either large format art or a large mirror, because we don't know what someone else is going to put there. We don't know where they're going to put their couch. We don't know how big their rug's going to be, all of these things. So we have a unique opportunity where the furnishing side really can dictate / influence the renovation side. So I looked up a few pictures, and this one really spoke to me.
First off, I just want to point out I love the flooring.
Agreed.
It's super dark, but it's not shiny, so it kind of recedes. It's soft.
Absolutely.
The walls are super bright. It's very sparing. I don't know. I love.
How do you feel about the smaller trim?
You know, that's interesting because bigger trim is actually something that's gotten more popular.
It's like
over the past
really
couple years.
like the bigger, the
bigger
better.
the molding, the better. But I do
Yeah.
like that it's short.
Okay.
It feels more European, definitely.
Okay, I'm glad you said that because that's kind of the direction I wanted to go.
Okay.
A little bit more of that minimalist European chic. I mean, these are not gigantic units. They don't have a ton of space, especially the kitchens, which are actually really small. But for a short-term vacation rental, it's actually ideal.
It's more than you need almost.
Yes,
yeah.
you don't need a bunch of space eaten up by cabinets that you don't need. But I think it's these kinds of conversations that are important to have at the outset, so that we don't get down the road and think, well, why didn't we even think about how that was going to be used? Like, form has to follow function. So as beautiful as it will be, we ultimately want it to be just so comfortable for people that are staying there.
I would love to stay there. I mean,
Me too. Do you want to stay there?
let's stay there.
Vacay.
Yeah. We'll be the first to use it.
So these projects are so much fun, but they're really demanding and they require a lot of my time. So when I get a little time to myself, I end up on the tennis court. It's like my mental vacation. I love it. First of all, we're in Arizona, which means I can play 9 months out of the year pretty comfortably. I get a little sweaty, a little like heat strokey at some points, but it really is my passion. I love it. I love everything about it. Maybe mostly the outfits. I mean, I'll be honest. It's a great way to connect, not only with friends of mine, but also my husband, because now he has to play, or else he has to stay home with kids. So he's learned to play, and we have a lot of fun. Okay.
Oh, the end? What's he got?
Lucky guy.
We're gonna return.
Gotta bring that heat. No, that's seriously too much.
Not too much?
Yeah. Hold your hand up. So now that we've kind of thought out our design aesthetic, Sake and I are ready to go out and source the materials.
Maybe I'll think of this one.
Yeah, good. Professional. Yeah. I can't take you anywhere.
It's fine.
We're really trying to get the look for less. We can go much more expensive at like facings in Scottsdale or some of these higher end waterworks type field tiles. But if we don't stay on budget, it doesn't matter what our designs are because they won't use it.
You're right, yeah.
Okay. In order to make this look like this, there's a lot going on. These are field tile. The installation is really expensive. And you have to tile all the way up to get this look. So even though you look at this and you're like, this would be great, it would be. But when you're considering like every little aspect, labor, installation, materials cost, it becomes a little unworkable. But this is great. They're doing a good job.
Yeah.
They should do this for a living. Yeah, in my perfect world, we would be able to line the walls and the shower in black, at least halfway up the mirror, maybe almost kind of give it that wainscot feel. But we have to kind of go into it thinking that's probably not going to happen. We can kind of fudge it a little bit with paint so we get kind of a similar look.
Yeah.
But like this is really great, but $429 is going to price us right out of it. Let's give ourselves the best chance of getting a full wall by getting it as inexpensive as possible. And maybe this is where we kind of find a look, and then you get online and work your magic and call those companies so that we can make it feasible while retaining the design.
Definitely.
So now that we've been working on Venture on 66th for a few days, we're going to put together our source materials, look at the design aesthetic, and make some final decisions. I like it. Okay, so to that effect, referencing the beams, let me show you what we figured out for the exterior.
Awesome.
Okay, so we were a little bit hesitant to go all white on the building because the roof is a little bit lighter than typical, so we decided to go ahead and do this building and this building in a dark gray. For the exterior, we're looking at black and white. And it's a little bit of a challenge because at first it seems too boring, but then you look at it on the rendering and it's gorgeous and it's fresh and it's modern. So we're sticking to it and it's gonna be awesome.
A part of the reasoning that we wanted to kind of make those buildings a little darker was because the roof is a little bit, it's an interesting color. It is
Yeah.
a light gray.
Yeah.
So if the building was white with a light gray roof,
Yeah.
it would kind of just look a little too stark, I think.
A little too stark, yeah. We want to make it look really interesting and chic. And so I feel like going this way, almost as a color block, will be cool. So the old building, as it was before, had these like concrete blocks, and I didn't know what they were called. They're called breeze blocks, and they're really cool. They were used a lot in the buildings that were built around the 60s. Holiday Park is one of those areas that has a lot of rich history, and we don't want to eliminate that. We want to honor it. We want to celebrate it. So we are knocking that original wall down, but we are replacing it with those breeze blocks. We will paint it black, which will give it this great modern graphic element while still bringing in that vintage feel. So moving into the courtyard, we worked on this all day today, and I feel so happy with what we came up with. That black and white that we've got on the exterior, it's going to be in the courtyard, but it's also going to provide the nicest backdrop for all these wonderful amenities that we're planning. We're doing the bocce court. We're lining it with trees. I think it's going to be really, really cool. We're adding lighting in the form of lights lining the bocce court, and you correct me if I'm wrong.
Yep.
And then we're doing string lights in the outdoor room area that have the black Alumawood beams.
Yep.
And then the other side, we're kind of modifying what was initially a storage room and just kind of a random fence that didn't make a lot of sense, and we're making an outdoor kitchen type eating area. Hopefully we are getting this fire pit in here and are able to include a few more trees on that side because
Yeah.
I can't get enough trees.
The more trees,
The more trees, the better. Okay, and then moving into the interiors. Now in terms of what we would use for like, say a kitchen backsplash, I pulled both of these tiles. Now this is a natural stone and it's beautiful. This is a ceramic, and as you can see, the proportions are similar in both, but this one is about 65% more than this one. If we were doing like a single family home or something that was maybe a smaller scale, or that really sort of was dependent on this as a style, I would maybe go with this. But I feel like this is going to give us the look we want. It'll provide a nice clean backdrop to whatever we choose. Whether we go with like a brushed gold hardware or a matte black hardware, it's really going to be a nice backdrop, and it's significantly less.
Yep.
In the bathroom, we can do these really inexpensive squares. We can lay them brick style
Yep.
on the walls as a backsplash in the shower, or we can get a larger format and take it right up the wall. But either way, we're looking at maintaining that black and white feel throughout. Again, adding warm touches either with hardware, fixtures, or actual fabrics like leather.
Leather.
Yeah.
Totally.
Leather.
I know, I think, kind of bringing in the warmth through the terracotta, through
Yeah.
the leather, through other natural tones, it's a design challenge in a way, but it's also,
Yeah.
I think it's kind of a fun way to bring in the warmth in
Yeah.
an out of the box way.
I feel really comfortable with this. I'm excited to get this all like plugged into the budget, plugged into all of the things that we have to really look at. I mean, nothing exists in a vacuum. We have to kind of see how it flows with what we can spend, but I think we're on a good track, and I think we've learned a lot even from the last project.
Totally.
Okay. Venture on 66th Place is turning out to be a really fun project. We're going to do some neat things with the textiles and the finishes as far as furnishings go. that are really going to make this property stand out. So we're going to start with a solid foundation in the renovation, and we're going to do icing on the cake with the furnishings.
Next time on Inside Look. With the plans for the Venture on 66 redesign solidified, Jameson breaks down the numbers and gets to work preparing for the launch of the crowdfunding investor portal.
Continue this journey with us. Click the subscribe button. And for notifications, ring the bell.